What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 76 of Snakes and the Fatman. Holy shit, I ripped the shit out of the paper. Morph Market has added a simple but powerful feature, store QR codes. I've been waiting for this for a long time. If you're a seller on Morph Market, you can download your QR code at the bottom of your store profile page. This will take someone directly to your page without them having to fumble what URLs they're searching. No more fumbling. That's what I'm saying. You could customize this whole QR code thing to go to either your store or your listings page. Optionally, explain what QR codes are. No, I really don't want to do that. I mean, if you don't know what a QR code is, you're a fucking retard, and you should not have access to the genius that is John Layman, all right? You want to know what a QR code is? Boom, it's this. Now it's gone, okay? Fucking idiots. Jesus Christ. You could use these any way you want to promote your brand or products. For instance, stickers. You know what a big fan I am of stickers, like fucking 4-year-olds. Anyway, imagine your customers slapping these on your tub, incubators, or water bottles and being able to immediately access your animals for sale whenever they are reminded of you. They even listed a QR sticking printing service. I guess I'll put that right down here. Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, the other day, I was drinking out of my sports water bottle after a jog, and I thought to myself, fuck, I wonder what fucking kind of bullshit Shane Kelly has for sale this week on Morph Market. And luckily, I had his sticker slapped right on that water bottle. Just scanned it on my phone, saw some new Calico combos. They could also be at your expo booth set up on a banner or just a sheet of paper on the table, okay? Look, they could even be on your shirts. I mean, like, imagine just fucking walking up to some fucking poor idiot and fucking scanning his shirt to get his Morph Market listings. I guess it might work. Listen, you could also obtain high-resolution Morph Market logos in case you want to use these in your materials as well. I'd like to actually congratulate John for actually doing that, because most people don't even think to offer high-res files of their logos on their website. So fucking, this is just another reason we love John Layman, okay? Others have even put these on business cards, shirts, expo setups, and even vehicle wraps. A fucking nice way to cause an accident. Morph Market is committed to providing you, as a breeder, the full range of products and services for your business or hobby. really, if you don't know by now, get right over to Morph Market and become a member at morphmarket.com. All right, listen, I'm just going to kind of blow through these this week, at least the ones that I can. Reptichip, like, if you don't use Reptichip, you are a Repti-bitch, okay? Because this is the best coconut substrate ever in the world since the beginning of fucking time, all right? So just go out, get a brick, get a block, get a fucking bag. Listen, they just put out this Repti-Earth. So it's the shit left from the coconut after you take out the coconut, okay? It's good for like hog noses, the bioactive fucking shit-eating isopod bugs and all that fucking Reptichip. You can't really have a collection if you're not putting it on Reptichip, because if you're putting it on something else, you're a fucking cunt. And it's probably one of the reasons that you have no friends, okay? So I'm just saying, go out, get some Reptichip, try out Repti-Earth for all you fucking meth addict looking bug people, and just fucking, the Reptilution thing, fucking buy a fucking Reptilution shirt. It's like one of the few guys in the industry actively trying to fucking help the industry, okay? So don't be a fucking cunt. Support the people that support the industry, and fucking just go out and get some fucking Reptichip. Join the cool guy club, okay? That's all I'm saying. All right, normally I have an iPad here, but I fucking drained the battery watching too much porn, so I got my little fucking notes here, okay? All right. What's going on, everybody? How are you doing? Let me go back. Let me refer. I don't care how you're doing. I mean, you're great. You're fine. You're fantastic. Beautiful. I'm very happy for you. Now, I just want to bring up some annoyances that I've noticed on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. You know, nothing really too big. I don't want to talk about how everybody's hating on everybody the last couple of weeks. I don't really want to talk on how fucking literally fucking no talent zeros are insulting people that have been in the industry for years and years and years and have done more to help the business than anybody else has. And I don't want to talk about the people in the business that have been doing it for years and years who are currently fucking people over like fucking idiots. What I do want to talk about is just two little things that maybe if it's gone, the hobby will be a little bit more tolerable, okay? So that's all. That's what I'm about, man. I'm all about tolerance, you know that. And you people, some of you, are making it very hard for me to tolerate you. If these little things that I'm complaining about maybe get fixed, maybe it'll make, you know, things a little bit easier. Okay, that's all I want to do. Fucking Snakes and the Fat Man is all about making things easier, okay? First of all, stop using the word noodle when referring to your animals or your business name. It's just stupid and fucking irritating for adults to hear. I guess the one exception would be if you're a 5-year-old girl, okay? But that's the only exception. If you're a 5-year-old boy, fucking man up and find a different fucking word. The word noodle is just stupid and makes you sound like a fucking cunt, okay? Come by and look at my noodles. Yeah, you know what? Come by and look at my ass, you fucking talentless, non-original fucking hack. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe. Another thing, if you call it a snack, S-N-E-K, you are a fucking loser. It's a dumb, fucking made up, stupid word, and it says a lot more about you than you probably think. You all look like this guy.
Snake. I'm a snake. I'm a snake. I'm a snake. I'm a slithery little sneaky snake. I'm so slithery and sneaky because I'm a snake.
Every fucking last one of you. Even the girls. If you use the word sneak, S-N-E-K, this is definitely one of the many reasons that the hot girls and guys won't fuck you. If you use this word, odds are you live at home with your mother or aunt or grandmother or cousin. You might even actually be fucking your cousin. You know who doesn't put up with this noodles or fucking snack bullshit? Fucking herps. Now, Sean and Laurie are on vacation. They're pretty much off the whole month of May, so I'm really not going to go into detail. We will have another show before they come back, but so I'm going to switch this over to visit the herp shop, okay? You got to go. If you're in Bryan, College Station, go visit the herp shop. Fucking my boy James Bergoli's over there fucking running shit, and fucking the kangaroo is there, you know, for the next couple of weeks or 2 weeks or 1 week. I don't know. The kangaroo is there. There's a couple other furry things too, but they got the best selection of reptiles and fucking, they got all the reptile chips. They got all the chunks, all the fucking chip, all the micro shit, all the fucking reptile earth, whatever you need from fucking reptile chip, you could get at the herb shop in Bryan or College Station or whatever that little area is called. Fucking, listen, just go to the fucking herb shop, all right? That's all I'm saying.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Snakes in the Fatman proudly brings to you its new breeder segment, 15 Minutes of Lame!
Hey guys, it's Justin at Canova. So in the past few years, Canova's become the top source for amazing ball pythons. Now Chris tells me, Justin, it's time to give back. So we're sponsoring the 15 Minutes of Lame to support the new and upcoming breeders. So jump in here. Let's hear your ideas. Let's hear your thoughts. Maybe you can turn your 15 minutes of lame into 20 years of lame, just like I did. If you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. So bring it.
15 Minutes of Lame!
All right, everybody. I woke up this morning and I thought, man, I'd love to fuck one of my cousins today, right? So I got to get some people from Tennessee on. And I only know a couple of people from Tennessee. And here's one of them, Bre Barham from Smoky Mountain Balls. How are you, Bre?
I'm doing good, Chris. I'm doing good. But I think you've got my state confused with Kentucky.
No, it's Tennessee, definitely. But like I
Is it?
wanted to, yeah, no, I was gonna move to Tennessee a couple of years ago. And then I found out from my friends there that in order to move there, you got to kill a black guy. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. Right. So let me
Oh
just,
my gosh, that's Alabama. That's not
yeah,
Tennessee.
I don't know. They're pretty close, right?
Yeah, we're pretty
Yeah.
close.
I don't know history or I don't know geography. See, that's what, see, I'm an idiot. All right. So you know how this works, right?
hmm
We're going to put 15 minutes on the clock. We're going to start that
Absolutely.
right now, and you're going to pimp yourself out, okay?
All
So
right.
the 15 minutes starts now. So the regular first question, what's up with
hmm
the name? Smoky Mountain Balls.
Smoky Mountain Balls. Thank you. Well, the Smoky Mountains that are around us, that's how it's actually spelled. So we decided not to go with the E because um, Smokey the Bear is the only reason that there's an E in there for, it all being all online.
Really?
Um,
I
yeah.
thought that Smokey and the Bandit was still Smokey with an E.
Is it this region, Smokey and the Bandit? I'm guessing.
Sure, that's the movie from the 70s. I know you're way too young to even remember that. I shouldn't have even
I
brought it
I just
up.
I
Fucking
just
Burt
turned 30,
Reynolds.
Chris.
Jesus fucking Christ, you people. You're just the fucking worst.
Sorry. I don't watch movies either. Like growing up, my parents were super strict. Like I don't want hardly watch TV.
Were you raised? Well, we're gonna get back to the name in a minute. Were you raised in like a mega stupid religious family?
No, but I was brought up in a Catholic private school.
Oh yeah, no,
So,
I was too. Yeah, this is what you got to look
mhm.
forward to turn out.
Yeah,
Fucking,
thanks. I'm very excited about it.
yeah, it's definitely been interesting. All right, so the name. So you just figured, fuck it, I'm gonna, the mountains are right here. We're gonna name it after the mountains.
Yep, we absolutely love the area that we live in. So we just decided, hey, that's what we're going to go with. We originally were JB Royals, but from the beginning, Jordan didn't like that name. And we knew we were going to change it once we actually started breeding because it was just too, without being mean about it, it was just too basic.
Yeah, well, not only that, I think that whenever an American names their
Hmm.
company Royals, I'm just like, nah, this is stupid. Like, fucking, this is not.
So
This
does,
sounds like a cocky English thing, like
hmm
fucking, because that, yeah, that they're all royals there, they
yeah,
call them royals there. So,
yeah,
so I think Jordan was right. I like Smoky Mountain Balls much better
me too.
uh, than whatever royals, and I give the name like a solid 7.5. It's a good name, So,
Okay, I'll take it.
uh,
I'll take it.
yeah, at least it's not like BJ Reptiles or fucking
No,
shit like that. That's
see,
just, yeah.
we've got like decor in our house that's like JB because Jordan and Bre, and it's letters. And my family, my friends think it's funny to switch around the letters and
Oh yeah,
do BJ everywhere and then
right.
hide the and. So no, we weren't getting anywhere close to that.
Yeah.
I'm not
All
going
right.
to be BJ Balls.
And yeah, that's just the worst. Um, so now the obvious second question: why buy from you? There's everybody in Tennessee. There's fucking Shane Kelly.
Hmm.
There's Brittney Gobble. There's
Hmm.
Alyssa Leonard. There's even fucking Brian Carter. Fucking
Hmm.
why would I get my balls from the mountain of smoke?
That's a really good question. So, I pride myself because we are in the furniture business as well and the storage business and exceptional customer service and after support. And I know that there's several breeders here in Tennessee that do the same as well. But I like to think that I'm a little exceptional and we specialize in clown. There's nothing in this racks that is not either het clown or clown, where I know a lot of the people around me, they're working with other projects. So I'm kind of in a specific little market, you would say. And I think I'm pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
everybody and I treat everybody nice.
you're fucking stupid, fucking cute, right? Like fucking, it really like that would be the reason I would be like, dude, fucking, if they had a choice to buy from you or me, obviously I'm cuter than you. They're gonna buy from me. Um,
Well, I
all right.
appreciate it.
Well, I know that this has been a spot of contention, but we ask everybody it. So, how long have you been doing this?
Since 2018 on the breeding.
Okay, so you've
Hmm.
been keeping before that, but 2018 you decided,
Hmm.
well, let me see if I can be like Justin.
Hmm. Yeah, pretty much. I'm not
Okay.
gonna lie about it.
That-
No, we really loved ball pythons, and we actually started watching Justin's videos, and his passion for reptiles kind of sparked ours as far as the breeding goes. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, he is what got us into breeding, and I really respect him and what he does. So he inspired us.
I think that's a little bit of bullshit because I think that nobody who owns ball pythons
Hmm.
has like one ball python and they're like, oh, look at
Hmm.
my incredible ball python. They all
Yeah.
get into ball pythons because I'm breeding, I'm gonna make me some money. Like that's the only reason. I don't know a guy. I mean, maybe Justin
Hmm.
that would be like, oh, I want to find out more about that ball python. That fucking boring ass brown snake that sits in one
Hmm.
spot for 13 days, never fucking moves, will swim
Hmm.
through its own shit and fucking yeah, it's just nobody that I know owns a ball python. Everybody
No.
owns 40 ball pythons because
Yes.
everybody is trying to make money at it. Okay. So how many ball pythons do you have?
30-ish.
Okay, well, 30-ish is
Yeah.
not bad at all.
Mhm.
And that's still manageable.
Yes. Well, we've got a lot going on outside of the ball python, so we can't really expand it too much to where it overwhelms us, because we still want to give, quality and care to not only our animals but our customers.
Yeah. No.
Mhm.
Blah blah blah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Customers, fucking. Now, I'm gonna ask it, and we're gonna see where it goes. But since
Okay.
2018,
Mhm.
okay, when you started,
Mhm.
till up till now, 2022, how
Mhm.
much have you put in versus how much have you gotten out? And you could really be generalize it, and keep
Okay.
in mind that nobody makes money at this. Okay,
Right.
so
Right. Right.
it could be 7 years, and they're still like, well, it's
Right.
my growing year. Yeah, all right, whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
so
So
first
we
year, what did you put in?
well, I can tell you this. What we put into it, we've not got back out of it yet.
Of course you have.
But I don't think anybody does within the first year or two. But I can tell you that my first breeding, the animals that I did pair together, they paid for themselves with their clutches, plus paid for my racks, paid for my incubator, and paid for a hatchling rack.
Okay,
Mhm.
so let's just. I know I'm not going to pull this out of you because fucking. So 30,000 into it.
Ish, yeah, a
Okay.
couple bucks.
Okay. Um, 30,000 up until this point or less.
Um, I think we invested 35 last year alone.
Okay.
Hmm.
So you definitely didn't get that back yet.
No, I don't have any of those breeding just yet.
Okay. It's a
Hmm.
growing year, right?
Yep. Hmm.
Okay, it always is. All right.
Hmm.
So um, now you also you have a day job. This isn't your main gig.
Correct.
And
Yes.
your husband has a day job. This isn't his main gig, right?
Correct.
Because you
Yes.
guys are smart enough to know that it doesn't work. It just
Mm-mm.
doesn't.
Mm-mm.
You're not going to fucking make a living on 30 ball pythons. Not that you can't, because
Mhm.
I know that people can, but they're normally single people who don't own a house and don't have real bills to pay, and they live with their parents. So it's not that you can't do it,
Mhm.
but I'm glad it's going okay. Now, are you
Yes.
guys show guys or no?
Not yet. No.
Okay, so you didn't do your first show yet. There's so many shows in Tennessee too. Like, what the
I
fuck is up
know.
with that?
We've went to a couple, but we don't vend, and we don't plan to vend right now. This past year, I sold everything, with the exception of like two males before any of the shows around me actually came to us.
Okay, all right, good. Well, that's the
Hmm.
smart thing to do. So that's going to lead into our basics. Let's talk some sponsors, and
Okay.
obviously you use Morph Market.
Yes, absolutely. Love Morph Market.
Okay, John Layman does not say "fuck you" to the bar. Okay, do you use Reptile?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh man, we're loving you guys. JT does not say "fuck you" to Bre Barham.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, have you ever been to a herp show?
Not yet, but I want to go to the New Orleans one. I think that'd be really fun.
That actually is one that I'm looking forward to go to.
Oh,
However,
awesome.
until you get there,
Yeah.
Sean Gray gives Bre Barham a big "fuck you." Okay? Now he might retract that when you actually show up at one.
Hope so.
Are you only ball pythons?
Yes, we are only ball pythons. I'm trying to get Jordan into boas, but he's just not there yet.
So as of right now, you have not bought a snake from Boa Affliction.
Not yet. Not
Well,
yet.
fucking Kenny says, "Fuck you, Bre Barham." Have you ever bought a snake from Justin?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, Justin is not going to say "fuck you" to Bre Barham. Okay. Do you have a focus cubed habitat anywhere in your house?
I wish, but no.
Not anywhere?
Mm-mm.
Can you put one in the
No.
living room or something?
Our house is small.
Oh,
I mean, we have 3-bedroom house, and 2 of them, one is the reptiles and one is the rodents. So,
Oh, gross! You do your own rodents too?
yeah,
Oh, this is
I
nasty.
love them.
Well, Stephen and Ashley Hard give Bre Barham a big fuck you. Obviously, you do not use SD design.
Mm-mm.
Blake is just like fuck you to Bre Barham. Okay.
Yeah,
But I understand he's a little pricey. Okay, I get it.
it wasn't even that. I actually, and I know you ridicule people who do this. I drew my own logo. And I did not do it on Microsoft Word. I did it on the Notes app. It's not
Oh
much
my
better.
god, the Notes app is even more gay than fucking Microsoft. That's so gay. Even the G is soft. That's J.
Sorry.
All right, it's fucking.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, did Blake Stewart give you a fuck you? Well, here's another one. Fuck you from Blake Stewart. Do you have anything from Sea Serpents in that house?
Yes.
Okay, you ended it on a bang.
45. Yes.
Good. You have a fucking 45, you said?
I have a 45 hatchling rack, and then I've got the incubator, of course.
Good. Oh, okay. Well, Chris Nettles does not say "fuck you" to Bre Barham, so you got about half.
Yeah.
You're doing all right there.
Half and half.
You're doing better than most people. Most people that use none of them and then don't even lie to me about it. They could just be like, "Yeah, no, it's right over there. It's right off camera." You know?
Wait, we had the option to lie?
You had the option to lie, but I know you're from Tennessee and you're probably some kind of Catholic, so you're not going to lie. So fucking,
No.
listen, when you lie, it hurts Jesus. Okay, that's what I'm saying, right? So, all right. So now your big projects are clown, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And have you had, well, like, what's your expected big clutch for this coming season? Well, like your one clutch.
Well, the one that I'm really excited about is a joint project between me and Brittney. I paired a fire clown to her Jedi Grim, and we are wanting some fire Jedi Grim het clowns, and then whatever my black pastel acid clown possible het hypo produces, I'm hoping to hold back and, get those together. And I know how you feel about hypo.
I feel even worse about that Jedi Grim bullshit. First of all, it's such a stupid fucking name. The Grim name is kind of cool, but the Jedi name is just like, dude, what the fuck, man? It's just like, really, were you just watching Star Wars and thought this name would be cool? Because what about that gene makes it look like a Jedi? You don't got to answer. I'll answer it. Nothing. Okay? All right?
No, you're right.
It's just a bullshit thing. It's the same with that dumbass Wookiee shit. So fucking,
I love the Wookiee stuff.
Yeah, blah blah blah. Wookiee.
I'm telling you, I'm naming. You know what? I'm gonna be getting a Wookiee, Jedi, hypo something. And I'm gonna name it Chris.
No. Well, you could get that Wookiee could suck it. All right. All right. Fuck that Wookiee. All right, Bre. How could people get in touch with you?
What?
Yeah.
Whoops.
Because you had to be all mouthy and make your Tennessee relatives fucking each other jokes. And
My
now
bad.
No, I'm only kidding. How could people get in touch with you?
So we are on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Smoky Mtn Balls. It's the abbreviation for mountain. And then we're on Morph Market.
Oh, okay. Really? You think MTN is the abbreviation for mountain? People won't be able to figure that out.
That's what my Tennessee heart just had to tell you, okay?
Oh my God, you fucking no! Don't sleep on women from Tennessee though. They're actually pretty cool. I mean, there's some.
You love me.
I do love you. I mean, there's some iffy ones out there. I mean, but I happen to be friends with the good people, not the iffy ones, because
right, exactly.
There's a lot of meth issues out there. That's what this is what I heard. Okay.
Yes, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I will be down there next month, so hopefully I will be able to see the meth issue for myself. So, Bre, seriously, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me for 15 minutes.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem at all. This is going to be on the Johnny Gobble episode, so
I'm so excited. Johnny's my favorite.
yeah, he's not a bad guy. Got to tell you,
Mm-hmm. They can't get rid of me.
No, well, he puts up a lot of shit between you and Brittney, right? So
yeah, we're pretty loud.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy to talk to. All right, babe. Fucking thank you again, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Thanks. All right. Bye. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Snakes in the Fatman proudly brings to you its new breeder segment, 15 Minutes of Lame!
All right, I have a couple of questions for anyone trying to run a business in the reptile industry. Do you ever feel like you're held back by a dated or detailed image? Are you sick of competing on price or convincing people to buy your fucking animals? Are you ready for a change but not sure where to start? Stewart Design guides ambitious companies to discover and share their meaningful difference and empowers them to reach their greatest potential. If you've been listening to me for a while, you probably know my man Blake Stewart at Stewart Design. If not, I'm certain you've seen the waves they're making within the industry. They've worked with the biggest and baddest players in the game. Stewart Design rebranded ball python extraordinaire Justin Kabilka over at Canova. They also created the brands for Amos Reptiles, my boy Zach Nava, Garrett Hartle with Reach Out Reptiles, as well as many, many more. Not to mention the rebranding and all the work that Blake has donated to USARK just because of his love for the industry. Stewart Design helps take that dumpster fire shit of a logo you drew in Microsoft Word to a whole new level. Get your big boy pants on because this isn't a game. There are literally thousands of breeders and more coming out every day. So how the fuck will you stand out at Tinley or on Morph Market or at Daytona? Why should anyone buy anything from you when there are literally thousands of other dickheads out there selling the same stuff? If you want to run a real business and not some part-time fucking hobby, you have to stand out and look the goddamn part. If you give a shit about your business and want other people to give a shit about it, get a hold of Blake Stewart over at Stewart Design. Stewart Design is a professional branding agency. Just check out their website to see the list of major national and international awards that they've won. And besides creating kick-ass logos, Stewart Design also designs and prints everything you need to crush your next show, so you don't look like another fucking reject. Business cards, stickers, flyers, table covers, banners, you name it, they got it. Visit sdidentity.com or email info@sdidentity.com to learn more. That's info@sdidentity.com to get started. Holy shit. I've got a guy on this week that I know you've never heard from before. He's like a fucking creature of legend, like Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. Talked about all the time, but rarely seen. Unless you're friends with that fucking psychopath Brittney Gobble and you watch this poor motherfucker deal with her fucking bullshit day after day after day with her $5,000 chickens and her $5,000 goats and her $5,000 truffle fucking sniffing dogs. I decided I had to find out what it was like for a good man to just be $1,000 to death by a fucking nut job. And it turns out when you're a genius, the little things that a psychopath doesn't really bother you all that much. Here's my one-on-one with Dr. Johnny Gobble of Gobble's Reptiles. What's up, everybody? Look who I have here. Somebody that never, ever, ever does podcast. the husband of Brittney Gobble.
And you've got me exclusively.
And I got him exclusively Dr. Johnny Gobble. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, dude, this is gonna be fucking awesome. Okay, Brittney and I are friends. We talk a couple of times a week, but I've never really just called up the house and said like, "Hey, is Johnny there?" Right? So I really don't
Yeah.
know as much about Johnny, and I know about Johnny through through Brittany's dumb stories, right? Like, and
Yeah.
then I notice, you know, I remember seeing the look on your face when she told you a dumb joke in a video,
Yeah.
and that was the time where I was like, this guy, I got to get this guy on. Like, this is brilliant. So tell everybody about Johnny Gobble because it's sad to say people know much more about Brittney than they do you.
And see, that makes me so happy. So I'm a veterinarian. That's what DVM stands for, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine. And we're in a small town. And the thing is everywhere we go, we can sit in a restaurant, we can go to a grocery store, and my clients will recognize me. So from across the way, they come, "Hey, it's Dr. Gobble." They talk to me. And Brittany's always been the wife of Dr. Gobble, or the wife of Johnny. And she's liked it. So she's not in the spotlight. And I've kind of done it for 20 something years, and I'm ready to get out of the spotlight. So when Brittney started doing the reptiles, I told her, I said, "I want to be in the background. I'll help you wherever I can, but I don't want to be in the spotlight." And it's worked out great. So I'm Brittney Gobble's husband is basically what it boils down to. And some people know me and some people don't. And what I like about that is that everywhere we go to Tinley, we go to Arlington, even the small local shows, Brittany's the one getting grabbed by everybody and saying, "Oh, it's Brittney, it's Brittney." And I just kind of stand back and smile. And it's to the point to where, go ahead.
Well, when you started this, when you got your first snake, right? When you guys decided to get out of the cat thing, Brittney was kind of a big shot in the cat world, right? Both of you guys actually
Yes.
were. Okay?
Yes, both of us were in the cat world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you expect? Well, I was gonna say, did you expect her to blow up like she did in the snake world too?
Okay, so yes and no. So we wanted to go into the snake thing a little under the radar because we had been in the cat shows, and we both were in popularity there, I guess to say. I mean, people knew us. We started a breed, and you know that from Brittany's podcast, that she started this breed of cat, and we worked together. And being a veterinarian, a lot of people came to me, so we were both there, and we said, let's go in low. And I kind of knew that Brittney couldn't do that. Her photos speak for themselves. Whenever she takes a photo of something, people flock to it. Her personality is very lovable, so people flock to her in general. I've always told her she could start a cult, and there'll be 100,000 people probably come and join this cult.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted her to be under the radar, but I knew that it would probably blow up. I just didn't expect it to blow up as fast as it did.
Well, at the end of the day, you could say that you're trying to come in under the radar, but when you guys are coming in dropping the kind of money that you guys were dropping with like Justin and Miguel and internationally, the international big guys, it's kind of hard, right, to stay under the radar because the snake world is such a bunch of gossiping fucking pussies, right, that they talk about everybody. And
oh yeah
did you know that coming into it?
No, well, we expected that again. Coming from the cat world, we expected any group of animal breeders, there'd be some gossip here and some backstabbing there. And in the cat and dog world, it was really a lot of cutthroat, especially at the shows. We didn't see that with a lot of the snake people. They were welcoming, but they did talk about us. I mean, I've heard people say, "Oh, they bought themselves into the snake. They haven't done a lot of work." And we haven't done a lot of work. We've bred some beautiful animals, but we have been buying the animals from people that's done the years of work. And we will admit that to anyone. But you're absolutely right. When you produce some of these snakes that we're producing, people go, "Wow, that's beautiful." And I have to thank the people that's helped us get there. And I do know there's still some bad people in the snake world, but overall, compared to the cat and the dog world, it's a real blessing. I tell you that right now.
Well, that's, and you being a veterinarian, you you have this insight now that 90% of the snake people don't have, right? Like I mean,
Yeah.
there's nobody like really educated in the physiology of an animal.
Yeah.
98%, 99% of the snake world doesn't have that.
Yeah.
The top 1% probably has access to it, but to have somebody like you right at the house, um, is it a like, do you guys ever get into a fight where you're like on one side being like, no, we're not going to do this, that's stupid, and Brittany's like, no, I want to do it, and who wins the majority of those fights? I think I already know. I'm just
I will
curious.
tell you, no matter what, Brittany wins the fights. That's the truth. No matter how much I scream and yell, in the end, she comes and I melt, and it's good. But she wins. So in some of the snake breeding combos, we have had a few not heated discussions, but I didn't want to pair a couple of them, but she really thought it was good. And then I had to eat crow at the end because the offspring were what she expected and not what I expected.
Right.
So yeah, in the cat world, we had a lot more disagreements because I wanted to do more placing of breeding animals, which in the cat world is different than the snake world. She was opposed to a lot of it. She wanted to hold on to some of these things, and I understand why she did. But in the end, we finally did a good compromise, and we placed a lot of animals out there where people could take the genetics that we had created and move forward because we were getting out. So, if you work on a gene for 10 years, you want somebody to take it over and keep going forward, where, we weren't going to continue that. And we kind of went over with the snakes with that. When we get these genes, we want to make them all better. We're trying to do the right breedings to make these animals more beautiful or even healthier, looking at different sizes and their health in their background. So,
Okay. Well, and I don't think she's ever said on one of our shows, how did you guys meet?
I was her veterinarian.
Oh, really?
So,
Really? Okay.
yeah. So she brought a bird, a little baby blue and gold macaw she was raising, and she thought it was having some problems respiratory wise. I don't know if it really was, but she was feeding it manually. And sometimes these birds will inhale and get pneumonia. So we put it on an antibiotic. And I mentioned to her that I like birds. And that was probably 6 months to a year before we started dating. And what had happened is her job that she was doing currently got very busy. She was still living at home with her mother. So her mother was having a problem feeding this bird. So they contacted me to see if I wanted to take the bird. And I thought, well, I could put it in the clinic. So that kind of is where it started. And as a result, she came by with the bird. My staff saw her and thought that she would be a good pairing with me. I thought that maybe she wasn't going to be a good pairing with me because I didn't know her and she was younger than I was. So you kind of go, what kind of person is she? Is she going to be one of these young ladies that giggle a lot? Like you were saying earlier when we were talking, some of these people, you don't know what comes out of their mouth.
Right.
But
right.
We convinced her to go to our banquet dinner. And so she was there and my staff had arranged it. So there was only one seat available when I got there. It was next to her. So I sat down next to her and I just let the questions roll and she answered them perfectly. We had same interests and things like that. We didn't expect it to be a date, but it kind of felt like a date. Right. And then after that, we just started talking and it snowballed. Probably 6 months into it is when I asked her to marry me. And we were married in 9 months into it. We were dating in December and married in July the following year.
You people are out of your fucking mind. 6 months? Oh my God. Yeah, that's fucking nuts.
Hey, when it clicks, man.
Yeah, I guess, right? And what were you like? Were you like, will you marry me and we'll fall ass backwards into money? Because that's pretty much, what really goes on. But before we get into that, prior to you being a vet, you were a Marine, right?
Yes, I was.
Yeah. Okay.
I joined I started school.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I started school in '88, college, and needed some help paying for it, just like anybody else does. And I was kind of working my way through school. My parents didn't have a lot of money. So a recruiter was harassing me, and it was a Marine Corps recruiter. And I went down and talked with him. And he said all the branches are the same. You get the same amount of money for college. It's a GI Bill, and it's a reserve situation. So I'm not full time. I could join, go for the weekend, get my money there, get the GI Bill, and still continue going to college. And I got out to think about it, and it's a Marine Corps recruiter. I never did sports in high school or anything. So I had a couple of my friends say, Marine Corps is pretty hard. We don't think you'll make it. And that just made me angry. I said, okay, I got to do this just to prove to the world I can do it.
Right.
So I went and signed the paperwork, and I was off to boot camp. And it's amazing. And I'm sure the other branches are similar, but it's amazing how fast you can go to wanting to cry and go home because they're just beating the snot out of you every day with all these things. In 6 weeks' time, you're so in shape that you're laughing at them doing the same stuff, and it's like just breathing air. You know,
well,
it was
how
nothing.
long were you in for?
The boot camp was 12 weeks. Then I got out, went back to college, and did my reservist, and then they activated me for Desert Storm.
Okay.
So I spent a year with Desert Storm training and going over there and fighting the war. I was in artillery, so we were shooting the big guns. I got to play with the big stuff, not them little bitty things. So went over there for that, got out of there, went back to college, and I was in reservist for 6 years. And when I graduated college, I quit the Marine Corps at the same time.
Okay, so basically you were fucking killing ISIS like 15 and 20 at the time, right? Well, like you weren't a sniper picking them off. You were just behind the big gun taking out, whole villages, right? Okay.
Yeah. We would shoot bullets that go over their head, and they didn't know what were coming. The next thing they know, all these grenades were falling on their heads. So.
Oh God, yeah, that must have been fun. Yeah, that's badass. Now. It's funny because knowing you in the capacity that I knew you up until now, and even now, you don't really seem like the guy that would be, the Marine, taking out ISIS. Like you just seem like a laid back fucking Tennessee guy. You remind me a lot of Nate Bargatze. Like he's a comedian from Nashville. And your mannerisms are very, very similar. Like you're just relaxed. You're just, kind of just chilling, right?
Yeah.
And that may be a function of age too, right? Because how old are you now?
I'm 52 now.
You're 52. So you're one of the rare guys that I've had on here that are older than me, right? So the funny thing is I look way older than you, right? Like but like you look like you're 40 and I look like
thank you for that.
55, all right? So
you don't look that old, okay?
I'm pretty. If I shave this beard, I'll look like Cartman from South Park. And that would be my best that I could do. Now, why did you decide to become a vet? Like what was the reasoning behind that? Was that when you were going to school to begin with, that you couldn't afford school? So how come? What was that drive like?
Since I was very young, around 8 years old, I wanted to be an animal doctor or a zookeeper. Those were the two things. I loved animals. I was a farm boy. We always had animals. I would go outside and catch frogs, lizards, snakes. I was into anything I could grab. And so I just my whole life, I kind of went that direction. And so when I started college, I just kept going in that direction, and I got into vet school. So, and it's been a very enjoyable career. It really has.
Right. Well, what's the coolest animal that you've ever worked on?
It depends on what you consider cool. So
I've done. I'm probably considering animals a little bit cooler than you've gotten to work on, but you never know. You could have got called into the Nashville Zoo and worked on like a tiger. So
okay, I've worked did an autopsy on a polar bear.
Okay.
So I've done that. Worked on some camel hoofs for the zoo. So I've done those exotics. I work on monkeys about once a month. So like I said, it depends. I do the exotics. I'm the only vet in my county, plus most of the surrounding counties, that see exotics. Right. So I see a lot of the pocket pets. I see a lot of the birds, the reptiles. I'm seeing is it a cucamonda? It's a honey bear is basically what it is. I'm seeing that tomorrow morning.
Oh, so, cool. Okay. So when you did the polar bear autopsy, what were you just like, oh, did you have to tell its parents, I'm sorry, but it's meth?
It's meth. Yeah, it was very skinny, so it could have been meth, actually. So,
well, and now, I mean, Brittney does all the writing, right?
yeah.
Now,
Mhm.
right? And you are currently still working, right?
Yes.
Okay, so who really takes care of Gobble's reptiles, or do you
We
have
both
like staff to take care of it, or?
Well, we both take care of the reptiles. I do most of the feeding. She does most of the cleaning. Of course, she
Okay,
does all the photos, and I do the listing on Morph Market. And our daughter takes care of the rats. She wanted to do that. We were doing that. It was getting a little overwhelming because we had to add more and more rats as we grew more and more. So she started doing the rats. She loves them. She spends all day over there petting them. They're pet rats to her, but she's still okay with us using them as food for the snakes.
right.
So it's almost a family business. So, and we talk about the pairings together quite a bit. I've got it on a spreadsheet. We sit down and discuss what are we going to do, what babies do we want to make, and really, I know a lot of people say this, but we breed for what we want to breed, and if no one else wants it, oh well. But so far, everybody's kind of wanted what we've bred, so it's been a great adventure.
Well, and we asked this question to everybody, and I really would like to know, and I want you to be honest. How much, since you decided to start breeding snakes, how much have you put into it, and how much have you gotten out of it? And the only reason that I want to know the answer, because I kind of know the answer because Brittney and I talk a lot, but the only reason I want to know is because I want to just show all these fucking people that think that they're going to spend $5,000 and make $100,000 in 2 or 3 years, that it's not going to happen. So tell me what you had to do to get to the point where you are now. And you've only been doing it about 5 years, right?
Yeah. So we were looking back. Brittney actually showed a picture of the first hognose. Well, we did geckos before hognose. So if you include the geckos, we've been in the reptiles for a little over 5 years. But as far as the snakes go, the first hognose came in 2018.
Okay.
So 4 years on those, and we started buying ball pythons that same year. So 4 years on ball pythons, and then the other snakes were added later. I don't know the exact number, but with remodeling the building we just did and everything, I know it's over $250,000.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's actually, I actually thought it was more than that.
No, I think it's just right around 250. Might be a little bit more, but not much.
Okay.
And what we've got now, I can tell you that all the snakes have paid for themselves except for the most expensive ones, because we're just now getting babies out of those, like the Monsoon, the Cosmos, the Pixel Gene, stuff like that are in the higher value range. So we didn't borrow money to do this, but when I do my spreadsheet, we're still in the negative.
Right.
And it's been 4 years. So my projection is at our current rate, we'll probably have all that paid off this year and start making 100% profit after that. So there is a way to make money in snakes. People do it all the time, but you're absolutely correct. I don't think you can spend 5,000 and make 100, but if you put your money into it and your time into it, you will start making money down the road.
And this is all your guys' sales have been through Morph Market or private sales. You guys don't set up a table at the Knoxville show, for instance.
No.
Okay.
We vended one time at an expo because a friend of mine, they're a client of mine, asked us to come. They have all kinds of exotics, the large cats, the wolves, everything, and they needed some reptile people to come. So we set it up when we were doing our geckos. And that's the only time we've ever vended. It was for one day. We may vend in the future. We haven't decided yet. I know that a lot of people do vending and do very well at it. I just don't know how many $20,000 snakes I'm going to sell at the Knoxville Expo.
Yeah. Well, the Knoxville. I mean, obviously, you guys are on a level where you're just going to do the Tinleys or the Arlingtons or internationally, Hamburg or something. But it's very rare that people are spending $20,000 at a show now.
Yeah.
Anyway, So.
They contact the breeders and go from there. So it's like you said, it's all private.
Yeah, it used to be like when we were coming up about 10 years ago. It used to be like, oh, somebody will spend $15,000 at a show, $10,000 at a show. but nowadays it's kind of rare that somebody walks away from a show with $80,000. Okay, now people will walk away with 25,000. Depending on if it's a good show or not, and even that's not bad for a weekend. But it's normally not at a local show. It's normally at a national show.
One of the bigger shows. Yeah.
Right. Well, and how many snakes do you guys have right now?
If you count the ones that are not ball pythons, we probably got around 150.
Okay. And
so not a big collection.
What do you think just the ball pythons?
I know that we have 82 females. Not all of them are breeding size yet, but we have 82 females. And I've got some males in the rack that aren't big enough yet, but we have 32 males plus probably about 4 more. So right around 38 to 40 males.
Okay. All right. And how big is the new building that you guys built?
It's 36 by 24.
Okay.
So, and it holds, we have 2 70 tubs, 3 70-30s, I guess is what they're called. And we have 2 50-40s, 50 tub 40, right. 1 70-20, and then we have 3 hatchling racks already set up in there, plus some not aquarium, but the sliding glass front racks. I don't know what those are called, the PVC racks, for the boas and the bloods.
Okay. And what's going on now with Brittney doing so much more of the writing and everything? Basically, if you want, I mean, even with what you've done so far, if you wanted to retire tomorrow, you could, right?
I'm retiring real soon, so yes.
Okay. And you're just gonna live off that Brittney fucking book money, right?
Brittney's book money makes more money than I do as a veterinarian. So yes.
I mean, I can't even imagine the amount of pissed off authors that just look at Brittney and be like, God damn it, like you're not even trying, okay? And you're doing better than I. I love it. I honestly, I love it. But
she can tell a good story. She really can. And I mean, I don't know if you want to go into the book thing or not, but that's a surprise to me also. I mean, when she started the thing, she wrote this little story and it was cute. And I didn't think she was going to make any money. I said, why are you wasting your time writing this little story? And she put it on one of those free sites and then she forgot about it. And a few years later, she pulled it up and said, I got 186,000 people that's read this story and want me to finish it because it's unfinished. And I looked at her and I said, 186,000 people at just $1 a piece. That's $186,000. Finish the story. Right. You know, so we got her laptop and it took her a few months, but she finally finished the story. And she said, I want to make enough money to go out and buy breakfast every day. And she was making that $10 or $20 a day. But then when she got said and done, I mean, there's days that she makes $1,500 in one single day selling her books.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. Well, did you expect it to go the route of animal people fucking? Okay.
No. I knew it was fantasy. And she asked me about, should she write romance and have these steamy scenes in there? And I said, well, I mean, if you feel comfortable, and you have to understand, and Brittney, so she's a little bit more innocent than most of us.
Yeah.
I looked at her once. She said, what word did she? Oh, she said horny to me. One time she just looked at me and she said it. And I said, you can't do that. That's like my grandmother saying that. You don't need to say that again. and then she laughed at me and she said a couple of her friends have called her down for using words like that at these cat shows because it sounds like their grandmother or their mother saying it. They don't want to hear it. So I thought it was surprising. And she doesn't use any of those words around me. In fact, she had to Google most of the words that she used in her book to know what any of them are. And I find it funny, and I haven't read one yet. She don't want me to read it. She says that it would embarrass her for me to read these books. So at this point, I haven't read a single one. My mom has read all of them.
I have. Okay. And it's definitely it's definitely surprising. Okay. Number one, because there's certain things that I mean, this like, and I tell everybody this on paper, Brittney and I should not be friends at all, right? Like fucking, I mean, the word cunt comes out of my mouth 80 times a day. And the first few times I said it in front of Brittney, she was very like, oh, come on, dude, you can't say that. And now Brittney, just like my mother, just ignores the fuck out of me when I say when I say cunt, when I say any of these bad words, right? So it's really, it's really like a funny situation, because I bet you guys didn't seem or didn't think that life was going to take a turn like this, right? Because you probably thought, like, being the vet, you're like, oh man, I'm a man in the house now. I'm always going to be making more money. I'm a doctor, okay?
Yeah, no, it's not true.
She's not going to be, be making what I make. And literally, she sat down and wrote a book about animal people fucking, and she's crushing you now, right? Like fucking. So,
hey, I love being a kept man. Okay, I get to ask her for things now,
dude. Seriously, like you got the gig. Like you got the gig that every dude wants, all right?
It's great. It really is. So,
but at the same time, you have to lose a little control of everything, right? Because I can't see that it was Johnny the Marine's idea. Thinking, man, I would really like a truffleary, okay? Or, man, I would really like a really hairy cow, okay? Like I don't see, or I want fucked up looking chickens that probably cost $5,000 a piece. I just don't see you being like that guy, right? So that is mostly her, right?
A lot of it is her. Now, the truffle was my idea, and I just wanted a few trees. Okay, so it was my idea because we've been out eating, and we both love French truffles, and we were going to plant a few. And we went to a guy above Knoxville that's been successful in selling these things. So we went up there and talked with him, and he showed us he had 17 acres. And his dog was hunting them, and Brittney fell in love. I mean, she just said, this is the greatest thing, getting stuff from the earth. So when we got back, she said, we need to do more. We need to do more than just a few trees. So we started looking around. I asked my parents for a little bit of property, but they were using it all for farmland and couldn't spare any. So I found a foreclosed farmland, and the bank was ready to dump this thing. So I bought 5 acres for next to nothing.
Right.
And that's 5 acres we just planted with trees, and she loved it. And so the only drawback is the trees are not going to produce a lot of truffles for a few more years. And now that she's making money on the books, I don't know what we're going to do with all these trees. So, and the cows, I was going to say the cows were her idea. The fox was her idea. So there's a lot of them that is definitely her idea.
Well, the fox just seems like the most annoying fucking pet in the world. Like that's just like having a speed demon in the house that's just running around.
It hates me.
It does it really?
It hates me.
The fox is like a blur. That's all it is. Yeah. It's like you can't even pick it up and pet it. I mean, I think she can. But as far as like the videos that she showed of it running around the living room, it's just like a blur that you can't even enjoy. And it wrecks the fuck out of that room that it's in, right?
It definitely does. It just tears it from one to the other.
It doesn't seem enjoyable at all. Okay. Now, it's cute, but it doesn't seem like it's an enjoyable pet.
My kids love it. They can hold it. My mother lives with us. She can hold it, and Brittney can hold it. So they all love this pet. I told them the other day, I said, that is your pet, not mine. I can't touch it. It tries to bite me. My daughter brought it to me and asked me to pet it. When I reached up to pet her, she bit me then too. So I leave her alone. What annoys me the most about her is the computer that we use most of the time is right next to that room. And it's good most of the time, but sometimes she starts digging and screaming, and it gets on my nerves. But I've learned to live with it.
That fucking fox better hope it doesn't get sick, right? And fucking anemia.
Oh yeah,
right.
Oh yeah.
Please excuse this brief interruption for a word from one of our sponsors. How fucking thrilled am I to have Focus Cubed Habitats joining the snakes in the Fatman family. They are literally the best display cages that I've ever owned. I was a fan of this husband and wife team of builders from when they were putting out these amazing pieces of fucking art from their garage. Stephen and Ashley have been keeping reptiles for years, and as experienced keepers, they understand how important your animals are in your life. Focus Cubed Habitats provide security and comfort for your animals while maintaining these insane, badass designs that everyone can appreciate. They give you the opportunity to make their home part of your home. You want options? They've got options. Every Focus Cubed habitat is custom made to your specs, and you could choose from hundreds of options on their website. Too many options? Ashley and Stephen have a huge selection of blog-style articles and complete accessory fact pages on their website to help educate consumers about add-ons that will best fit their individual needs. Listen, at the end of the day, these fucking cages are showpieces. Every cage that Focus builds will be the centerpiece of your reptile room. Hell, they could be the centerpiece of your fucking living room. If you have reptiles that you want to display, look no further than Focus Cubed Habitats. You can follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and even fucking TikTok. Or just go old school and go right to FocusCubedHabitats.com and tell them that the Fatman told you to drop them a line. And now, what do you think is the 5-year plan? Like, because you guys already got a lot going on, and you have a lot going on to the point where you already made it. You guys are already, like, compared to most people, right? Like you guys already made it. So are you guys going to continue pushing the snake shit and the book shit and doing it as hard as you're doing it now? Or are you actually going to just retire and be like, hey, I don't need this. I could travel. I could go all over the world. I definitely don't need this. So what's the 5-year plan at the Gobble household?
Well, right now, as far as Brittney's concerned, the books are going to be the same. I've convinced her to only write 6 this year, but she's already got 8 in her head for this year. So she's continuing to write. And I was telling her, all you have to do is write this year and you could stop completely and you can ride that money for another 4 or 5 years and not ever write again. But she says, I want to tell these stories. And I said, okay, as long as it doesn't interfere majority of our life, go ahead and tell your stories. So she's trying to fix it so that when I retire, which August is my goal date, when I retire, she's going to write when we have time. And then the rest of the time, we're going to travel, spend time with the children. The snakes, we're definitely going to continue with the programs we have. We are not buying as many this year as we have in the past, although if something catches our eye, we will get it. Our daughter wants to start fooling with the snakes. Actually, both of our daughters want to fool with the snakes. So they're kind of coming into it, learning a little bit. I don't know where that's going to go. I've told them, we've got a good foundation here. If they want to start doing it, there could be some income for them in the future with the snakes, depending on how they took it. But our kids, they're at that age where they don't know where they're going to be when they grow up anyway. And we've raised them that they can do whatever they want to do. And if they do it correctly, they can still make money at pretty much whatever they want to do, as long as they give 110% and do it the right way. And don't pick something that's not got money in it. There's a lot of jobs out there that people take that there's no money in it whatsoever. So that's where we are with that. So 5 years, we want to travel. I was talking to one of my college friends today, and I said, sometime in the next year, I'm going to come out and see you for a week. And he said, that's great. If Brittney gets the energy to do a lot of the traveling we want to do, there's people that we want to see all over the United States. A lot of the snake people, she still hasn't, got to meet at their facility. She still wants to take photos of some of these snakes. She enjoys that. So what's going to happen is I'm just going to work on the farm and cater to my wife, because that's what she wants me to do. And she's going to do what she wants to do, which is write her stories and take photos. And then I will fill in the gaps where she needs me to fill in the gaps.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, and that's like, that's like an admirable thing to do, right? Because fucking most dudes wouldn't do shit like that. I mean, most dudes are assholes. You know, dudes. You were in the Marines, so. You know how guys act, and the thing is that if the wife shows any form of success, the guy usually gets pissed off and aggravated about it. And
Yes.
it seems like it's exactly the opposite over there. Like you were in a position that I would fucking blow a black eye to be in. Okay.
Yeah.
You are
Yeah.
literally like, I'm like, yeah, Johnny got it going on. But also it doesn't take away from the work that you did to get where you were, right, or
Yeah.
where you are now. So the fact that you had a successful vet practice before you guys even bought a snake,
Oh, yeah.
it is like a big deal that I don't think that you get a lot of credit for. I do know that a lot of people, when they think of Brittney, they definitely they know you, but
Okay.
I definitely think that there should be a little Johnny spotlight every night. You know what Brittney should do? She should take an animal person in one of her books that's Johnny and name it Johnny, right? But you get to pick what kind of animal person it is.
That I get to be. That'd be cool.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you could go from there. Yeah, that would be awesome, actually.
She claims a lot of the characters she writes has bits and pieces of me in it. So she probably could do that.
Well, and when you married her, did you know that she was just into these corny, dumb jokes that literally seem to drive you crazy whenever she videos?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So she was involved with another guy before me. They were actually engaged. And she had these ugly, big nerd glasses that she would wear. And she said what would happen is she'd drive around and people would flirt with her through the cars and try to hit on her. So she would just put these nerd glasses on and these guys would just drive right on by. They would just ignore her completely. And so her ex-fiance hated them. So she would come out wearing them, acting like Steve Urkel from the TV show, saying nerdy stuff and acting stupid and snorting. And he'd get mad at her and all that stuff. So they broke up. And she told her mom, she said, the next guy I date, he has to like the nerd glasses. Mm. So she put them on. And it was very funny the way she was doing it. And I think she was purposely trying to get in my face. So I finally just took them off of her and I put them on and started acting the same way. And she said that was the deal for her. She said, if a man can do that, that's where she's going to go. So that's one of the things that kind of we mesh together. We're both a little corny. We both do some weird things. And so her jokes is just her new way of trying to get under my skin just to see where she can go with it.
Yeah, I love the fact when she calls you into the room and you have to get up to do it, like knowing that you are probably just laying down watching TV and she calls you into another room. Like I get mad when I see those videos. I'm like, motherfucker, he's just trying to lay down, man. All right, let this guy lay down.
She's had to come up with new ways to trick me in there because I've kind of caught on now a lot. Right. And it's like, she's just going to tell me a joke, but then she'll say something. I need you to look at something. Come in here. Right. And then I'll go in there and it's the corny joke.
And then you're like, oh my God. Well, and also you guys are in a fairly small town, right? So, and you guys are you guys are close to some other snake people, right? I mean, you may not be down the block, but you're definitely close to them.
Yes.
I'm going to shout out, Bre Barham. What do you think of her?
She's great. I see her more than her husband because she comes over to get rats from us periodically. She's got her own colony going now. She's got a great personality. She's interested in the snakes. Her husband's really interested in the snakes. I don't know where they're going with their projects, but they've got some good projects starting. They really love clown stuff, and they're trying to get a Cosmos clown from us, which Cosmos clown hit big just about a year ago.
Yeah,
or maybe a little less.
Was it like $55,000 for that? Like,
some phenomenal thing is what Ralph said. It's crazy. So, but yeah, we really do enjoy their company. They have a lot of good stories to tell, and they're probably 20 minutes from us.
Yeah, she's awesome. I was talking to her last week, and she was like, she was so excited. She was like, I got to ultrasound a boa with Johnny today. and she
Yeah,
was.
she
I
had that.
mean, you could tell it made her day. That's the thing about you Tennessee people is that you really, like, man, when you guys are happy, fucking, you could tell that person is absolutely fucking happy. I mean, Bre was telling me this on the computer, and I actually felt like happy. Like,
Oh, good.
like
We
Bre
got to
is.
share the joy.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Bre is a lot like Brittney, where it's like this infectious personality. Like everybody is just really charming there. Now, believe me, I'm sure there's fucking some whores and meth heads from Tennessee too that aren't that charming. Okay,
No, oh
but
yeah.
the people that I know from Tennessee, happen to be that charming. And I definitely like them. I always said that Tennessee would be the secondary place if I don't get a place in Texas because they just seem happy down there.
Yeah.
And your guys' weather is a little bit better than Texas. Well, like Texas is just too hot.
It's pretty hot there. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you should have a house in both places. There you go. You just have one that you can travel back and forth to.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll take all this podcast money that I'm making and just
there you go.
just have a place in each area. Like
that's good.
Yeah. Well, we are actually coming to see you guys next month, and I'm excited to to do that. And I mean, you guys got so much. Like there's so much that Brittney's told me and that I've seen from Brittney's videos that I'm like, oh yeah, take me to this place and take me to that place where you have, because I want to meet this truffleberry dog that got flown in from Eastern Europe, and was like, okay, are you sure that an $80 dog from the pound couldn't have done, this exact thing? So, if you trained it, like there's some smart German shepherds out there, right? Like figure it out.
That's true.
And do you guys ever you guys are at the point where you probably just don't buy the cheap version of anything, right? Like I'm sure that Brittney's car or Brittney's truck is not a base model. I'm sure that your car is not a base model. Well, is there anything that you own that is a base model? Something relatable to the common people?
Our TV.
Okay.
Our TV is really basic. Yeah, our TV is very basic. We always tell people when we go out that we are cheap on some things. We will skimp. It's funny. We will recycle things and save things and put things together. Like some of the cages that I've built for Brittney's rabbits and stuff are just scrap wood that we have laying around or something like that. So we will be cheap there. But then, our most expensive thing, believe it or not, is our food. We go to a place, we look for a restaurant that's 5 stars, and it doesn't matter if that meal is $50 or $500. If it's got good ratings, we're going to try it out.
Right.
So that's where a lot of our money goes on our foods. So, we try to when we spend our money. So,
but what's funny is that I totally believe that because Brittney's one of those women that I know that when I talk to her, she could, she talks about those 5-star restaurants and those nice places, right? But she's always like calling me from the Sonic fucking parking lot. Because she just got some fucking nuggets or something like that, So,
she's one of these girls.
Definitely a dichotomy,
Yeah. She doesn't spend a lot of money, on her hair. She doesn't do her nails because she works on the farm. She says, if I get my nails done, I can't do anything. They just break off. So, she doesn't spend a lot of money on herself when it comes to things like that. Her clothing is more basic. She does have some nice shoes that she enjoys, but most of the time she puts on her boots. And boots can be expensive, but so when she spends her money though, it's food or reptiles. At this point, if she sees a snake that she wants, we look and see if we got the money and we'll get it.
Right. Well, and give me something that's because I feel like this episode has been the majority of Brittney, even though I've told you that we're not going to talk about Brittney.
Talk about Brittney.
Tell me something that's exclusively Johnny that Brittney doesn't like, that Brittney, something that you love to do that's not, intertwined with the whole, Brittney persona.
Okay, so that could be difficult because she likes to see me happy. So she would argue that she enjoys everything that I do, but she does not drink any beer. And I love going to breweries.
Right.
And I don't drink enough to fall down or anything like that, but I try to get a flight and just sample it.
Right.
I love the different, I don't drink, and I hate to say this, but the modern American beers, it's just not, I used to when I was young. If I wanted to get drunk, I'd drink Bud Light and stuff like that. But now I'm at the point to where it's got to be a craft beer or one of these upper echelon type beers that just have a lot of flavor, because I'm drinking more than just for alcohol like I do with my wines. She doesn't drink wine either. So I'd have to say alcohol is one of those things that's exclusively me. And then falconry, I'm going to get back into falconry. I was a falconer when she met me. When children came, I got rid of all my birds because hunting a hawk takes a lot of time. And when children are around all the time, it's hard to train a hawk. So she enjoys watching the birds fly and she enjoys me hunting, but she probably will not ever have a hawk of her own. So that would be something that's exclusively mine also.
Well, and also falconry, is the rule the first hawk you have to catch?
Yes. The first one you have to catch. Yep.
That gotta be insane. Like you're fucking psycho just for doing that. Like, how do you catch a fucking hawk?
Oh, you have this little whistle and you blow it and they come to you. I mean,
yeah, on. I'm sure that's the way it works. Yeah, fucking.
No, I mean, it's amazing though. You can take a wild hawk. You got to catch a juvenile. If you catch an adult, you have to turn it loose because they don't train very well. So you catch a juvenile, which is less than a year old, and they're already flying around, and you can train them in a month. They really bond. Birds, for whatever reason, bond quickly to their food source, and so I can have a wild hawk, and in a month's time, I can be out hunting with it. So it's pretty cool.
That's fucking nuts. How big are the birds that you hunt with?
Their red-tailed hawks is my favorite in the area because there's a lot of squirrels and they're big enough to handle them. So 2 foot tall. So when they're on my arm, I don't know if you can see this in the camera. When they're on my arm, not that tall.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'd like to get. You think we could hunt like a dog when I come visit? Like, we could get a bird that could catch a dog and fly it over to us. Just drop
that would be funny.
20 feet. Yeah. That would be really. And you don't really get involved in this reptile drama that 95% of the people get involved with, do you?
I try not to. Brittney and I, again, go back to the cat world, had a lot of drama. So when we see drama or when I see drama, I don't have my own Facebook. So most of this stuff would come across Brittney's Facebook and she'll show it to me. It's like, just stay away. Let's not talk about it. We have a few people that have tried to say things to us to get us mad at someone else, and we just kind of ignore it and go on with ourselves.
Right.
So it, like you said earlier, kind of laid back. We try to take that approach with people. And I mean, we'd stand up for ourselves and stuff like that. But in the same sense, some of the things are not even worth talking about. If someone says, oh, the Gobble sold me a lizard and didn't say the genetics, because we had that happen once. We sold it as a sale and the genetics weren't listed, and they got mad because the genetics weren't listed. We just said, forget it. We don't care.
Right.
I mean, don't come back and buy from us. So we're not going to get into this whole Facebook argument.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing. And you know what I do want to touch on a little bit is, and I'm not telling anybody that Johnny is a Nido expert, and I'm not recommending anything that Johnny says here. However, you have done some Nido research,
yes,
and you've come up with some pretty interesting conclusions on a lot of things. So why don't you just touch on that for me real quick?
I will have to agree with you and say this is my opinion.
Right.
And it's not science, so nobody call me up and chew me out or anything like that. But I have talked with a university veterinarian that has done a lot of Nido research. I have talked with another veterinarian that does almost strictly reptiles. I've talked to one of the labs research doctors, one of the big labs that tests for respiratory viruses in snakes. And I've talked to a lot of breeders. And of course, I've got my background with respiratory problems in cats and dogs and horses and cows. So I take this with a lot of the information I have, I pull it together. And I can tell you that the general consensus is there is a concern. The veterinarians believe that it is fatal if they actually have that disease. It is fatal eventually, and eventually could be in a month, but eventually could also be years down the road, depending on that individual animal, the species. And I do more of my research with the ball pythons because that's what we have, but it is in other snakes, and it can be carried by the other snakes longer than ball pythons. But the ball python industry, the veterinarians and the breeders, I think, have a big concern over this Nido virus because it is deadly. The idea is, though, it's not airborne. It's really spread by contact. So one of the veterinarians said what they saw in some of their studies is where people are contaminating the cleaning bins. So, they'll put the snake out of their bin into a holding bin, clean that bin, put new bedding in there, and then take that snake out of the holding bin and put it back up. And then they'll take the second snake and put in the same holding bin without cleaning the holding bin. So that holding bin can get contaminated by one, and you may not even know it has that respiratory virus because it can be shedding the virus without showing signs.
Right.
And next thing you know, 10 of your snakes have that virus. The other way they're contaminated is through water. If you're not washing your hands, cleaning out the water dishes, the virus can be residing inside the water. They also can be in handling. Of course, if you handle a snake that's sick and handle another one, you can spread it that way. And then another common way is through food. If you put a rat or a mouse in with a snake and it doesn't eat it, but it happened to somehow get its mucus on that rat or mouse, and then you automatically move it to another one because you don't want to waste that animal and you don't have anywhere to put it for the week, that second animal can catch the Nido virus from that first animal through that contamination.
Right.
So they're not seeing an airborne, like if you have one in a bin, all the snakes around it will get it. Right. That's not what they're seeing. They're seeing it randomly throughout people's collection. And it has killed every snake in a collection. One person said they don't know if that's the Nido virus or if that's the owner, because right now the common mentality of these breeders is they have it, they cull it. A lot of these breeders are saying, if you got Nido, you need to cull it immediately and cull every snake that's positive and do all this testing. And don't get me wrong, I do believe in testing, but I think a lot of the breeders are trying to over-depend on testing. I had one person mention to me that there's no such thing as a false positive test. And then the next person I talked to at a different lab said there is such things as false positives. So you could get a positive test, think you have Nido virus, but then the next test you do, it could be negative. And there's also the concept that that test could be positive only when they're shedding the virus. So if you get a snake that gets an immune system, fights off the virus, and it goes in remission, it doesn't ever get rid of it, it goes in remission. It may not be positive on the test, but the next time you take that snake and stress it out, like in a breeding situation or temperature change or humidity change, that virus comes back. Right. So there is these things that a lot of people don't have their concept on. The other thing that I'm hearing out there is these people are trying to produce Nido virus-free snake houses where they're testing all their snakes. They're testing all the ones coming in. And I think that could be a good idea if used properly, but I still don't think that you could say that you're Nido virus free. Right. Because you don't know.
It's like COVID, right? Like you could get tested negative and then catch COVID on the way home from the test and you end up being positive, so
correct.
There's so many things that could be on and off. Do you think that these big snake breeders, and I mean the top names in the industry should get every snake in their collection tested? And would it really matter if they did?
I don't think it would matter because, again, they can all be negative and still be carrying that virus and not showing up. It's not a situation that you're always positive once you're positive. If you look at AIDS, the HIV virus, if you're positive with HIV, you're almost always positive. You may be asymptomatic, but you're going to show up positive on that test. Where, like you said, with COVID, there's people that have the signs of COVID, been around COVID people, they know they've got COVID, but they're still negative on a test. And then they can test positive and then negative later, still showing signs and still shedding the virus and be contagious. That's the way this virus, I think, is. And again, that is more my opinion. There's still a lot of research going on. I know the vets I've talked to are having kind of a reptile meeting to try to discuss this and other respiratory viruses. So there's going to be more information coming around over the next couple of years. But I think that if, someone tested 1,500 snakes, they're going to spend a lot of money, and they could say we tested everything, but they still can't come up to a person and say, I guarantee I don't have it in my collection.
Right. Yeah. So it would almost be, I don't want to say it's a waste, because I think that, testing does do something, but also I think that what's going to happen with Nido is it's just going to be an acceptable risk in the snake world, And
it may have to be like the other and of course the other respiratory viruses are not as deadly. A lot of those snakes can recover, but once again, they can recover and still be carrying that virus and still infect other snakes.
Right.
I mean, I have a client right now. We've been struggling with his collection because we'll treat all the snakes. They'll all be over it. And then 2 months later, oh, here it is again. What's going on?
Right.
And the snakes are not dying. And it's not nidovirus as far as we know, because it's not showing the signs, but he has not tested it. And his conclusion was, if I test it, what do I do? And I said, you basically do the same thing, except for you may want to do a little bit more strict isolation of these particular snakes. So that's what people's doing. Now, I had one guy talk to me about these big collections. And he said, well, maybe the recommendation is a veterinarian, because I said, people are going to ask me these questions. If you have a large collection, maybe you should test 5 or 10% and try to focus on the snakes that you remember may have had any signs of a respiratory, or maybe you're poor eaters, or maybe something that's just not right about that particular animal, and test all of those. And if they all show negative, then maybe you can wait a while and then go from there. This isolation thing that people are doing, I still think isolation is good because of other diseases. But, if you test a snake and it's positive, well, you can kind of say, yeah, I definitely need to isolate it. But like you just said, it could be negative a month later. Now, do you take that snake later on and put in your collection knowing it was positive at one time? Or do you say, no, it was positive once, I can't really put it in my collection? Then what do you do?
Right.
And, and what if you spend, $10,000 on a snake and it's positive, but it's not got clinical signs? All right. There's no clinical signs whatsoever. And, I've told a person that, well, you should breed that snake, but make sure when you do breed it, that you breed it to a snake that you are willing to take the risk that it could get the same virus, and just keep them isolated from your collection. That way, if the snake breaks with Nido and it gets sick, then you've got to do something. But if it's a healthy snake eating all the time and it was positive on a test, you could still get a clutch of babies from that snake. Right. And it could live a long life. I mean, I know another gentleman that had a snake positive, got it out of his collection, gave it to someone he knows and said, you can have it. They tested it twice more. It was negative, and he's going to let it breed. He's going to give this person a male that he doesn't want back in his collection, let it breed. He's going to test the eggs, and then he's going to test the baby snakes when they come out, just for his own knowledge.
Right.
And that's what we need.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like if two positive snakes mate and have eggs, is there danger of the eggs just being born where they're Nido positive all the time?
That's a debate more amongst the breeders and the veterinarians. The veterinarians I talk to do not believe it's passed into the egg, but they haven't done enough research to prove it one way or the other. So again, more people is going to have to test these babies, but I don't know. I've heard people say, if you get these babies before they even shed, you don't have to worry about nidovirus. I've had a lot of people say that to me, but I don't know how true that is personally. If you base it on the other reptile eggs and other reptile diseases, it should not be transmitted into the egg in most cases. There are some diseases that are transmitted, but most cases they are not transmitted into the eggs, just like in mammals. Like human babies don't tend to get the diseases mom has because the placenta protects the baby with the mother antibodies. These babies should be protected from a lot of these diseases.
Well, I think that it's going to be a rough hill to climb, right? Because if somebody admits that they have Nido in their collection,
they're blackballed. Yeah,
they're pretty much blackballed forever. Yeah. So,
people won't want to touch them because it is a scary thing. And I think that's where a lot of these breeders are trying to go with this. We're Nido free, so they can say that for their own protection. But the scary thing is once again, is this going to be a marketing ploy in the future, or is this going to be a safety ploy in the future? And are we truly safe? I mean, if you buy a snake from me, can I tell you for sure it's Nido? I could test it for you. You could get it and it could still have it.
Right.
If there's a snake that it's exposed to that has it. And then the other thing you've got to understand, let's say I ship a bunch of snakes. I'm going to ship some overseas. The sad news is if you're shipping with any of these big shippers, they take these snakes and put them somewhere to feed them a lot of times before they rebox them back up and put them out. So I can test a snake. I sell one of these $10,000 snakes to someone in France. I tested it's negative here, but that doesn't mean it didn't get exposed on the way to France.
Right.
Because we know that a lot of these big shippers will do that.
Right. Well, that's why, another reason why I think it's just going to have to be one of those acceptable things. Like, hey, you run a risk of this happening, just like, with anything else. I don't think the bigger breeders are going to all test for Nido. I don't think they're going to test for IBD, for instance, with this Bob Clark thing that's been going on. I just don't think that the bigger people are going to do it. And I think that at the end of the day, you have to just trust the person that you're buying from, right? Like if I buy a snake from you guys, I'm pretty positive that it's probably going to be the healthiest snake in my collection, right? Like I'm just pretty sure that, from you, from Justin, same thing, from Ozzy, same thing. When I buy from fucking Jimmy Jack, fucking living in his mother's basement in Alabama, I don't think that, I'm going to quarantine that bitch for fucking 6 months instead of 2 months,
Yes, yeah.
So I think that you have to pay attention to who you buy from.
And it depends on the breeder's policy. A lot of breeders will say, once you have the snake, it's your problem. But that's not true with a lot of these breeders. If they're a good breeder, if you bought a snake from me and it got a respiratory problem within a certain amount of time and I felt like it was our fault, we would replace that snake. We would refund you. We'd do something to make it right. And I've talked to a lot of the bigger breeders. Brittney talks to all these, and I've been to a lot of facilities with Brittney. And I asked them, well, what do you do if you got a complaint? And they said, well, it depends on the complaint and it depends on the person and the situation. Our standard policy is X amount of days, it's your problem. You've had it now for this long, it's your problem. But really, if it's someone that's being honest, talking through with them about what has been going on, if you can prove that it was a problem from either the snake or the snake just had a genetic problem, because that happens a lot too. It's like, okay, this snake never really thrived. We can do something about that.
Right. Well, and also, the fact of the matter is that at the end of the day, and I just kind of lost my train of thought here. But I think that it's not unreasonable to, if you're selling a high dollar snake, to just add the testing in and, either charge the person for it or pay half, and just do it before you ship the snake out. This way, at least that person has a step in the right direction of it being, possibly non-negative, or not non-negative would be positive, right?
Yeah, there you go.
That you did whatever you can to make sure that you're not sending out a sick snake. I don't think that's unreasonable. The test is $50. If should you do it with a fucking banana male? No, of course not. You shouldn't have to do it with a $60 snake. But if you're selling a $1,000 snake, I would definitely do something like that. I don't think something like that's unreasonable.
Well, and I do believe that testing, being a veterinarian, we do testing all the time. Testing is going to help people monitor the situation. They're going to help people look at new things, like the eggs, like you said. We test some of these babies out of some of these positive moms, see what happens. Right. That's going to give knowledge. The problem is, if I have a cat that has a disease and I'm really interested in learning more, I report that cat to my university or to some research group. Snake people don't. Like you said, if I say I've got 3 positive, Nido-positive snakes, and I tell the world, they're not going to buy from the Gobbles anymore. It's like they got positive snakes. Right. So the problem is you may test 3 of your snakes and say, hey, I found out this neat thing. Who are you going to tell? Because if you tell a lot of your snake friends, they may blackball you, or it may get, like you said, they'd like to gossip. Oh man, you don't want to go buy a snake from that guy.
Yeah.
So who do you tell? And the research vet that I talked with said, just have them call me. So he said, I'll take this. He said, I'm not going to tell anybody what's going on. He said he felt the same way when he was doing his research projects. The people that he was working with that had the Nido virus did not want him to tell anyone who they were or even where they were located.
Right.
So,
well, that goes with the old adage. Like I tell people, snake friends are like, I mean, they're gonna fuck you, right? Like basically, like you don't have any snake friends. All you have is snake people that haven't fucked you yet, right? Like that's the way it is, because everybody's gonna, in this business, everybody turns on everybody. If there's blood in the water, I mean, everybody turns on everybody. There's very few people that will be stand up, and you guys are, some of those people, because I had an issue last year where, they were trying to shut me down, fucking calling me sexist, calling me on, and Brittney fucking came on not caring about anybody and fucking said this amazing thing about me, and I was like, wow, I know that fucking, if the zombies ever come, I'm going to Brittney's house, because I know that they're not going to fuck me. If the zombies ever come, I'm going to go to Texas, because I know that they're not going to fuck me. I am not staying in New York with these Northeast shady ass breeders that fucking will fuck your mother for $1, So it's really, that's the whole thing about the whole Nido thing. And, there's so many other things to worry about also, that your average guy that, has 10 snakes doesn't know. Like they won't know about, for instance, this IBD thing that's being talked about now, or Nido. And, there's a lot of other things that could go wrong.
The class, I just had, excuse me, I just had a class on some reptile diseases. And one of the things that professor was really scared of is fungal infections. Because if your snake gets it, you have to sterilize your entire facility. Right. So it's a lot more work than Nido virus.
Right.
It can, and it ends up, it can be very deadly. It causes a pneumonia and everything. And he said, this one is actually scarier than most of anything out there for me, because it's in humid areas, which is where we keep our snake rooms. It's in very nice, warm, humid areas.
Right.
So,
and is that like scale rot and shit like that? Is that
it looks like scale rot in the beginning, but it actually is much deeper. Most of your scale rot is just bacteria, which can be treated with antibiotics. But this fungus he was talking about can get deeper and get into their systems, and it ends up killing snakes. So, and it produces spores like a mushroom. You ever step on a mushroom and all that stuff comes flying out?
Right.
That's what this stuff does off your snake. So it's airborne. It's in the environment. It's in your bedding. It's in your cages. So he said that's a harder thing to deal with than any of the viruses are.
Yeah, I would think so. All right, well, fucking Christ, man. This makes you like not want to do it, Johnny, thank you, man. I mean, we're on a little bit over an hour now, but thank you for taking the time to fucking come hang out and just kind of talk shit. I'm sorry we spent the majority of the episode on your wife, but I'm pretty sure that you knew that was the direction it was going anyway. If anything, your wife definitely knew that was going to be the direction that it was heading in anyway. So hopefully we don't get you in too much trouble. I know that you're a little bit reclusive, but how could people get in touch with you?
Well, I mean, you can contact me through Gobble's Reptiles email. I check that too. Brittney and I both share that email. Okay. My personal, I mean, if people want to personally message me, so that one, I check it every day. But if you have questions or anything for me, you can just address it to me through Gobble's Reptiles. If Brittney gets it, she'll contact me and tell me to read it. And like I said, sometimes I'll check it. So gobblesreptiles@gmail.com is how you can get me.
I don't think we're going to give out the vet one, right? Because you're going to get, I mean, I don't know if you notice about this show, but, the majority of people that listen to me are morons, right? So fucking,
okay.
I don't want you having to field moronic questions.
So bleep that one out.
Yeah, I'm gonna bleep that one out, and then we'll just we'll give out the Gobble's Reptiles one. But dude,
okay.
Thanks again so much, man. I hope we didn't get you in trouble, and we're pretty much good to go from there. So
Okay.
When I put this out, I'll tag Brittney so she and you knows that it's going up, and we'll take it from there. But thanks again, brother. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, my man.
All right, bye-bye. Here at Snakes and a Fat Man, we're huge supporters of diversity. We're proving that point here by having our first ever boa breeder as a sponsor on the show. Boa Affliction has been around since 2010, and when they saw the VPI T-positive gene, they immediately shifted their focus and decided to make not just visually stunning albino boas, but they quickly realized that the T-positive snows and sunglows really stood apart from the T-negative albinos that were available at the time. This original VPI gene has maintained its place in the market for the last 10 years and shows no sign of slowing down. Here's the thing. When you invest into your 401k, a 401k for all you ball python people is a fund that you invest in for your retirement. But when you invest in a 401k, you just don't invest in Walmart. You invest in Amazon, Verizon, Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. That's all we're trying to say here. 100% of your collection doesn't have to be ball pythons. Throw a few boas in there and be part of a different type of cool crowd. And when you do that, invest with Kenny over at Boa Affliction. Great, no bullshit guy with an awesome website. And how in the fuck am I gonna say no to a guy who uses this chick in his promo picture? Can't do it. Can't do it. I tried everything. Go check out Kenny today at boaffliction.com. Sticking with my supporting of diversity, I actually hired a millennial to handle all of my social media, but I had to fire him because he didn't show up for work. So I'm just going to leave this picture up here for a little while longer. All right, everybody. Thanks again for sticking around for the whole thing. Fucking Johnny is fucking awesome. Fucking love that guy. We drop new podcasts on the 1st and the 15th of every month. And our next Zoom call will actually be on Mother's Day, okay? May 8th. It is a special MILF edition of the open Zoom call for reptile keepers. So I hope to see you guys there. And as always, if you're in a position to help the channel grow, like all these people just kind of rolling up over here, join the Patreon page at patreon.com/snakesandthefatman. If you see all these people, go to their fucking Instagrams, go to their fucking Facebooks, fucking friend them, give them a chance. You gotta support the people who support your favorite fat man. Again, that's patreon.com/snakesandthefatman. All these fucking people just rock my world, and you could rock the fat man's world too, okay? Just fucking join up on Patreon. Patreon.com/snakesandthefatman. All right, guys, if I don't see you at the next open Zoom call for reptile keepers, the MILF edition on Mother's Day, that's May 8th, I will see you back here in 2 weeks, which will be May 15th. So, again, thanks, guys. I love you guys for fucking sticking around and hanging out and laughing with me. And I'll do this little fucking hat tip to say goodbye like I saw them do in Young Guns. Young Guns 2. For all you people that don't know, that's Charlie Sheen, the guy with AIDS now, and his brother, Emilio Estevez from the Mighty Ducks. And it was a Western movie about Billy the Kid. God, I hate you fucking kids. Everyone talks their own shit about what kind of racks you should buy. Metal racks are great, but everyone doesn't want a goddamn 7-foot high, 6-foot wide, 2,000-pound metal rack in their fucking house. That's a 2-refrigerator footprint, man. 2 fucking refrigerators. Sea Serpents makes insane quality racks that could fit anywhere. They're stackable PVC racks that are living room friendly, and they're shipped fully assembled with heat tape already installed. Just plug it into a thermostat and you're ready to go. When we had the shop, we had over 20 Sea Serpent racks there before they ever became a sponsor of Snakes and the Fat Man. I don't breed much anymore these days, but I still have a few racks here in my house, and you could be goddamn sure that they're sea serpents. Oh, and they also make hotbox incubators, probably the best reptile incubators made in America. At the height of our breeding business, we had 4 4-foot hotbox incubators. And again, I still have a small hotbox incubator here in case anything I keep actually does breed. Go to seaserpents.com and check out their incredible selection of PVC racks and tell Chris Nettles that the Fatman sent you.